Unresolved enigmas of Jesus Christ. Despite the immense fame of Jesus Christ, central to Christianity and known to over 2 billion people worldwide, numerous mysteries about his life remain unsolved. The Gospels provide the primary narrative of his teachings and activities, yet they leave significant gaps in understanding his personal details, from his appearance to the specifics of his family relationships and miraculous deeds. These unresolved questions continue to intrigue scholars and believers alike. Fact number 1. Uncertainty about Jesus' birth date. The exact date of Jesus' birth remains uncertain and was not a focus of early Christian celebrations. It wasn't until AD 336, approximately 300 years after Jesus' death, that December 25 was established as the official date to honor his birth by the Church. This selection may have been strategic to coincide with existing pagan holidays or due to errors by ancient historians in calculating dates. Moreover, even the year of Jesus' birth is debated, but indications in the Gospel narrative about King Herod's quest to find the infant Jesus suggested was before Herod's death, estimated around 4 BC. However, discrepancies in historical accounts raise doubts about the precise year. Additionally, some scholars propose that Jesus was born in the summer or fall, not in winter, as the Gospel account of shepherds watching their flocks at night, indicative of milder weather, would be unusual during the cold, late December. Number 2. We don't know what Jesus looked like. There are no contemporary descriptions of Jesus' physical appearance, and the common images seen in Christian contexts are based on artistic interpretation and cultural influence. Using first-century male skeletal remains from Galilee, researchers have proposed a model suggesting Jesus had medium brown skin, relatively short, curly hair, and a muscular build typical for a laborer. However, these depictions are speculative. The earliest Christian artworks depict Jesus as clean-shaven with short hair, aligning more with Roman rather than Byzantine styles, which later portrayed him with long hair and a beard, possibly reflecting the philosophical and authoritative ideals of that era, akin to depictions of pagan deities like Zeus. Number 3. Debate over Jesus' birthplace. While Bethlehem is commonly recognized as Jesus' birthplace, thanks to its mention in the Gospels of Matthew 2 verse 1, and Luke 2 verses 1 to 7, this is not consistently corroborated across all Gospels. The Gospels of Mark and John do not mention Bethlehem, nor do they refer to any specifics of Jesus' birth. This absence of mention in early texts, particularly when Mark's Gospel, estimated to have been written around AD 60, just 30 years after Jesus' death, raises questions about the certainty of Bethlehem as his birthplace. This inconsistency has led to speculation that later Gospel writers might have emphasized Bethlehem to align Jesus with Old Testament prophecies regarding the Messiah's origins, fulfilling the expectation that the Messiah would come from the lineage and hometown of King David, associated with Bethlehem. Number 4. Jesus walking on water, miracle or misinterpretation? Jesus walking on water, described in Matthew 14 verses 22 to 33, is a famed miracle where he meets his disciples on the Sea of Galilee by walking out to their boat. While traditionally seen as a miraculous event, some, like oceanographer Doran Knopf in 2006, suggest natural explanations such as parts of the lake being frozen due to cooler climate conditions at the time, providing a thin ice layer. Others speculate that linguistic nuances in the original Greek might indicate Jesus was walking near the sea, perhaps on the shore or in shallow water, which could have been misinterpreted by the disciples in dim light or during adverse weather. Number 5. Jesus' lost years. The canonical Gospels cover Jesus' birth and his early childhood in detail but then skip to when he begins his public ministry around the age of 30, leaving an 18-year period unaccounted for. This absence of narrative from age 12, after the account of Jesus engaging with scholars in the temple, Luke 2 verses 41 to 52, to his adulthood raises curiosity about what he did during those years. Canonical scriptures offer no information on this period. However, apocryphal texts like the Gospel of Thomas provide snippets of his youth, though these texts are not accepted in the standard biblical canon. Legends and non-canonical stories go further, suggesting that Jesus might have traveled far, possibly to India, Japan, or even Britain, to acquire esoteric or mystical knowledge. Meanwhile, traditional interpretations often depict him continuing his life in Nazareth, working as a tekton or craftsman, which typically implies carpentry but can encompass a range of skilled manual work. Number 6. Uncertainty about Jesus' death date. Most historians and theologians agree that Jesus died in his early 30s, but pinpointing a more precise date is difficult due to inconsistencies in the Gospels and differences in timekeeping between ancient times and today. The modern Gregorian calendar wasn't adopted until 1582 by Pope Gregory XIII, and in Jesus' time, days were calculated from sundown to sundown, similar to current Jewish Sabbath observance. Gospel accounts suggest Jesus died around Passover, with Mark 14 verses 12 to 14 noting the Last Supper as a Passover meal. Speculation includes the possibility of his crucifixion occurring during an eclipse, though this is not definitively proven. Scholar Helen Bond argues that Jesus likely died around Passover sometime between AD 29 to 34, cautioning that attempts to pinpoint the exact date, like the once popular April 7, AD 30, are speculative and uncertain. Number 7. Jesus' marital status remains unclear. The Bible does not explicitly state whether Jesus was married or single. Early Christian texts and debates reflect varied opinions on this issue, with some early Christians using his presumed singleness to advocate for celibacy, while others from the 2nd century suggest he might have been married. The Gospel of Jesus' Wife, a controversial papyrus written in Egyptian Coptic from the 7th to 8th century and possibly based on an earlier Greek text, includes a line where Jesus refers to a wife. However, this is debated among scholars, with some viewing it as a metaphorical reference to the church and others considering it a literal reference. The text likely emerged from early Christian debates about the role of women in the church, indicating its focus on broader theological discussions rather than providing definitive proof of Jesus' marital status. Number 8. What happened between Jesus' death and resurrection? The Bible provides minimal details about what occurred between Jesus' death on Friday and his resurrection on Sunday. Various scriptures offer hints. Luke 23 verse 43 suggests Jesus was in paradise the same day he was crucified. 1 Peter 3 verses 18 to 20 and 4:6 hint at Jesus preaching to spirits in prison or the dead. The Apostles' Creed, evolving until about the 6th or 7th century, mentions Jesus descending into hell, a concept visualized in medieval art as Jesus confronting demons. This event, known as the harrowing of hell, though popular in art and theology, isn't explicitly detailed in the canonical Bible. Number 9. Did Jesus consider himself the Messiah? The question of whether Jesus saw himself as the Messiah is debated among scholars. Bart Ehrman suggests that the Gospel of John, written decades after Jesus' death, portrays Jesus as claiming divine status and messianic identity. However, this portrayal is unique to John, as earlier Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, do not directly attribute such claims to Jesus. This discrepancy raises questions about the historical accuracy of John's account and whether Jesus himself made such claims. Number 10. Mystery of Jesus' siblings. Jesus' siblings are briefly mentioned in the Gospels. Matthew 13 verse 55 names brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas, and mentions unnamed sisters. The role and nature of these siblings are subjects of theological debate, particularly regarding Mary's perpetual virginity. The Catholic Church interprets these siblings as Jesus' cousins or Joseph's children from a previous marriage, preserving the doctrine of Mary's virginity. However, these interpretations are not explicitly supported by Scripture, leaving their exact relationship and impact on early Christianity open to interpretation.